In this video, I'm going to show you how to sharpen your lawnmower blades, how I sharpen mine. There's two ways that I do. So I'll first show you how to know if your mower blades need to be sharpened, and then I'll show you the two ways that I sharpen them. I'm seeing some of these blades, some of those are ripped, some are pulled. They just don't have that clean edge that you would want from a sharp mower blade. Your mower is leaving patches or lines of uncut grass. It's another sign that your mower blade needs to be sharpened. Another obvious way to tell if your mower blade needs to be sharpened is a touch test. Is your blade sharp? Does it feel dull? Are the edges rounded? If you answer yes to any of these, well, it needs to be sharpened. A simple and effective way to sharpen your mower blade while it's still on the mower is just with a mill file. A couple things to do before you do that. One, if it's battery powered, make sure that you take your battery out. If you're gas powered, you can take off your spark plug, and some will even add a piece of wood to prevent the mower from turning, just in case. To start, I'll take my mill file. There's two edges to it. One is a little finer than the other. I normally will start with my fine edge, and I will pull up and away. You can see I'm going from right to left as I'm pulling that file up. Just like that. It's not bad at all. So that's done an okay job at this point, but my edges, I can't get right to the very edge of my blade. Same on this side, I don't know if you can see that. The edge of my blade is rounded. Using a mill file to sharpen a blade is pretty quick, and you can do a pretty good job. But it doesn't do as good of a job as if you were to take the blade off itself. So we're going to do that. First thing that I'm going to recommend you do, especially if this is the first time that you're doing this, is make a marking on your blade so you know which way it faces down. So I'm going to put a D on this side of the blade. The D on the blade helps when you're going to put that blade back on. Some people will put that blade on upside down and find that it isn't cutting properly. It's not cutting properly because the blade's not installed properly. I wear a glove to help me grab the blade without cutting myself. Now, I'm going to take my nut, I'm going to set it down. I'm going to take my bracket, I'm going to set it down, and my blade would go. So when it comes time to installing it, I know which way these are supposed to go. So now with my blade in the vise on a slight angle, facing upwards, I'm going to use the 60 grid side of my mill file. And I'm just going to follow the angle of the blade. The blade obviously is up and down like this. There's a slight curve, slight ridge to it, and I'm going to follow that ridge line so that I'm filing it the manufacturer's line. So now that I've done that, I'm going to use the finer grade of my of my mill file to really get it sharp. It's very sharp. That's pretty good. Now, I'm going to use the rough edge again. It's 60, and clean up some of the back of that blade as well. So now with the blade sharpened, it's time to check the balance. So I'm going to set that on there, and we'll see that it comes up. See if it comes up balanced. Then it does. If you don't have one of these, you could always stick a nail in the wall or a screw in the wall and rest the blade on it to see if it stays level. If it drops down one side, then that side's a little heavier, and you need to take a little bit off that one side of the blade. Like I did on my previous blade, I'm gonna put a D on here and a D on here for down. This will be first. This will be my second. Grab my ratchet. It's a different size socket. My single blade. Set that on there. Put a glove on to sturdy the blade. Nut, bracket, first blade, second blade. See, there's quite a difference between the two blades. This, I'm going to start with my second blade. Let's see, there's a few little nicks in that. We'll clean those up. Side's not too bad, actually. The next tool that I will use is an angle grinder with a flap disc. That flap disc is a collection of abrasive flaps adhered to a backing and generally created for angle grinders. This is a 80 grade abrasive. I have a couple of these things around. I've used them as high as 120, but nothing above that when it comes to sharpening a mower blade. As a matter of fact, I only own this to sharpen mower blades. It's important to familiarize yourself with the degree of the angle of your mower blade. You want to use the angle grinder and flap disc to follow that angle exactly. If this is your first time doing this with an angle grinder, you might want to do a couple trial runs where you run that angle grinder without the wheel moving up and down the blade, so you can try to familiarize yourself with that angle. Little burrs, that is, little pieces of bent over metal, are going to appear from sharpening your blade. It's important to clean those up as well. It's important to get that edge nice and sharp. Otherwise, the first part of the blade that's going to be hitting your grass, it's going to be dull. Same thing. There's a few nicks in this that I'll be cleaning up as I go. Blade 1. And now blade 2. Very sharp, very sharp. See, nice, clean, very sharp. Same, very, very sharp. The flat disc does a much, much better job at sharpening than just a simple mill file. Now with the blade sharpened, I'm going to check to make sure that they are balanced. My little balancer here, set that on, and we'll see how that sits. And my second, set that on there. So that now is pretty much center. I'm going to put this whole thing back together. I have everything arranged in the order that it came out, last to first. My second blade marked with the D for down. Don't really need to have it on there. Anybody who's done this more than once knows that there's a flat side and a ridge side to a blade. The flat side of the blade faces downward. There's a circular and a half moon hole in the blade. They line up with the circular and half moon nubs. Next, my cross cut, same thing. Put the D up here, my nut that I will hand tighten. My 14 mil socket, that quick tighten. Drop that battery in. I'll run that for a moment. Make sure it's tight. It's good. I'll come back and clean this out after. I appreciate the time you've taken to watch this video. Please take a second to let me know in the comments section below what you use to sharpen your lawnmower blade with. I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to my channel. You can like and share it as well. Thank you.